We're in Wedette Circle. This industrial section of South Boston would have become a 60,000 seat Olympic stadium had the Boston 2024 bid gone through. It was the centerpiece of what was billed as a transformative opportunity for the entire region.
One of our big pitches in the beginning was, you need to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Eric Reddy dreamed up the Boston 2024 bid with another young professional, Corey Dinopoulos, and their dream was wildly successful. In 2015, the U.S. Olympic Committee chose Boston over Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco to be the bid city for the 2024 Games.
Any Bostonian you talk to will already tell you we're like the world's greatest city. And so why not show that off to the world?
They pitched the Games as a way to generate pressure to complete much-needed infrastructure and transportation projects. Better transit, more housing, new parks.
We're willing to say, this is a problem, but we're not putting enough solutions on the table with firm deadlines that this needs to happen by this particular time frame. The Olympics would have been that deadline. There's no doubt about that.
And no one can walk you through that concept like David Manfredi, the Boston architect whose firm was part of the bid's master planning team.
The planning of individual sites, the big ideas around creating a very walkable games, creating compact games, creating affordable games, all from the point of view of the benefits, long-term benefits to the city of Boston.
Boston 2024's goal was a privately funded games with a surplus, while also putting a deadline on already planned publicly funded infrastructure projects. The bid called for the completion of the Emerald Necklace that would have connected the city's green space, and about $3 billion in transportation projects, including extensive upgrades to the MBTA subway lines, a new commuter rail stop at Whittitt, and new roads around major new venues.
It would be crazy to invest billions of dollars to move athletes around for 16 days. But that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is putting transportation in places where the city can use it, modernizing it in a city like Boston, where it's going to be long-term benefit.
The proposed venues all had legacy uses for after the Olympics and Paralympics wrapped up. The stadium in Whittitt, for example, would have been converted after the Games into a mixed-use development with apartments for thousands of people, with all the necessary infrastructure already in place. A similar plan was set for the Athletes Village near UMass Boston. Venues at local universities and parks would have enjoyed refurbished facilities for years to come.
You could consider the Games as a catalyst for really important planning initiatives.
And every team has a coach. On this team, Olympic rower Dan Walsh, the only Olympian on the committee, seemed to naturally fall into that role.
As naive as I may have been to the upper part of the politics and to the corporation side and the business development side, what I wasn't naive is that this moment could be very beautiful.
Walsh served as Director of Athlete Engagement for the committee, responsible for making it a great event for the competitors.
I just think about all the little kids that are like me, that maybe don't feel like they can play football or baseball or basketball. They don't feel like they fit in and have this just amazing experience surrounded by them of greatness.
But as the bid was gaining steam, opposition to the idea was growing too.
This could really mess up what's a great state and a great city, and it could send us in the wrong direction in terms of our priorities.
Chris Dempsey co-founded the No Boston Olympics group, giving his and others' skepticism of the bid's big promises a platform.
We had seen abandoned venues in Greece. We had read about the fact that the London Olympics in 2012 was something like $5 or $6 billion over budget. There's no national guarantee for the cost overruns in the US. That means that the people of Massachusetts have to cover all of those billions of cost overruns.
Dempsey's efforts seemed to resonate with the Massachusetts public. Polls showed wavering support for the Games in the months that followed Boston becoming the US bid city, which was in January 2015.
I do think the 2.5 weeks of the Olympics in Boston would have been fun. It would have been exciting. It would have been a great party. The problem is not the party. The problem is the $10 billion debt hangover that you have after the party leaves town. And that was always our concern.
2015's famously brutal winter furthered the opposition's cause, Dempsey said, with the MBTA snarled thanks to historic snowfall.
And I think people said, if we don't even have the basic commuting system right for our people that live here today, why are we going to be focused on a 3-week event 9 years in the future?
The plug was finally pulled on the bid in July 2015. We asked around to see how people felt about the bid today.
Quite frankly, I think it's Would have been a bad decision. I'm from South Boston, grew up here. The way it is now with no parking, imagine that. It would be a catastrophe. It would be.
Reddy, for one, stands by the Olympic pitch. Nowadays, he no longer thinks the city will ever host its own games, but he does look forward to watching Paris, and to this day, enjoys reminiscing about what could have been.
I think you'd see every street pole, every flag in the city would be Olympics themed. There'd be streets painted, buildings would have new murals on them. It would just be a really exciting time to be in this community.
Boston isn't the only city that would have taken the Olympic stage. In fact, communities around Massachusetts would have also had events, including New Bedford, Lowell, and Worcester. For a map of the proposed venues, plus the projected financials of Boston 2024, you can head to our Olympics page on NBC10Boston.com. Reporting in Boston, I'm Matt Fortin, NBC10 Boston.